A few months ago, I launched a mission design competition for the channel, and the response was incredible. Over 50 submissions from you lot. Today, I'm going to tell you about how those missions performed at the New Zealand Satellite Tournament last weekend, announce the winner, and walk you through my games where I piloted Shindenbutai to a third place finish out of 16 players. From those 50 plus submissions, I shortlisted the top 5, and we ran them all at the tournament. But here's the twist. I let the players vote on their favourite mission after experiencing them all. The winner? Well, we'll get to that at the end. But first, let me take you through the tournament. I was running Shindenbutai, one of the newest sectorials for JSA that came out with Operation Sandtrap. I've been playing it since release to really learn its ins and outs, and it's turned out to be a perfect fit for my playstyle, as you'll see from some of the results. The first game, and the first mission that we get to share, Airdrop. I played this versus Carney, who was playing Oban. Game 1, the core mechanic revolves around supply crates arranged in a hexagonal pattern and an angled deployment. You need to discover them, and then in the second round of the game, you can start to destroy them. It's chaotic, it's resource management, and it forces you to spread out. I was up against Carney playing his Oban, so it was a JSA versus JSA showdown. He won the role and took first turn. I set up some ARO pieces specifically to catch his impetuous orders, notably positioning a Raiden to see his Yojimbo, which, when he activated, promptly died. In turn 1 and his turn 1, Kali played the mission brilliantly. He used his Karakuri forward observers at long range to check as many supply crates as possible, ending up with 4 checked in his first turn. That was excellent mission play. However, he also spent lots of orders trying to destroy them with a multi-rifle, and I kept making armor saves on the crates themselves. It burned through his order pool without actually whittling down my forces. In my turn 1, both my Raidens were still up after ARO duty, having popped off some shots, so I had a full order pool. I pushed my Hatamoto Harris aggressively into his deployment zone. My Yojimbo, I did the same and took out his Ninja Hacker and cleared a Crazy Koala deployed by the Kaisotsu. Dying in the process, but that's a solid trade for a -6 martial artist. Then my Hatamoto broke through his Kaisotsu Link team by killing the combi rifle trooper and spent the rest of the turn splashing things with plasma whilst checking supply crates. The rest of the mission kind of flows quite nicely. So round 2 was all about destruction. Neither of us had brought enough dedicated anti-material, so I ended up doing heavy lifting with DACC weapons thanks to my Jazamurai. My close combat specialist took out 2 or 3 supply crates that way. I nearly put him into retreat, and by the end, he was down to about 67 victory points. And the final score, though, he won 6-5. He checked 5 supply crates to my 4. We both destroyed 3. Both completed our classifieds. It was razor thin, but he played the mission better. I still had 227 points on the table, so the Hatamotos and the Raidens did serious work, but Carney deserved that win, and he eventually finished the tournament second. And one of the top 5 community missions, that was a really strong start to the tournament. Game 2, Portals. I played this one versus Michael Freeman, who was Vanilla Combined Army. The portals, great community mission as well, and this one was brilliant. There are 3 portals and you can traverse between them, meaning you can fling units specialists across the battlefield incredibly quickly. It's high risk, high reward because they might also die in the process. It really flips table domination on its head. So I was facing Michael's Vanilla Combined, which I haven't played against for a while. I saw a Yaogat, what I thought was a Sphinx, a Corontid. I haven't played against it in so long, so it felt fresh and felt really nice. His turn 1, so he went first, having won the whip roll. I genuinely thought I was going to get tabled really quickly. His Yaogat activated first turn and just tore through everything it could see. I went straight for my Hatamoto, put a wound on that, forced me to put back into cover. This meant I couldn't pin his Corontid down like I planned. I did manage to kill one of his dead Arazi with a revealed Raiden, but then the Yaogat killed that. I revealed my second Raiden to shoot at the Corontid, landed 1 wound. But then the Yaogat came around and killed that Raiden too. So by the end of his turn 1, I'd lost Yojimbo, both Raidens, and my Hatamoto had 1 wound. Not looking good. They were all key attack pieces in the previous game. I was convinced that the camo marker he had was a Sphinx, which added to the pressure. My turn went surprisingly well. Dr. Worm in his turn had come forward to try and heal Bit and Kiss, who I'd knocked unconscious in ARO. I shot Dr. Worm during the heal, and he survived, but then I killed Bit and Kiss. So I splattered lots of things. Huge result. I wounded the Corontid, getting it to NWI, but it then kept retreating. I used my Tanuki HMG with MSV2 to take out the Yaogat, which felt amazing. And in his turn too, he moved the Sphinx-sized camo token and positioned it as a threat at the central portal. But he played very cautiously because my Hatamotos were in good ARO positions with Plasma. So he didn't do a lot in that round. And then in my turn, I got the Korontid. He revealed this. I discovered the Sphinx camo token with my Tanuki, and then it actually turned out to be an anathematic. I just pumped 4 or 5 orders into it, dropping it to NWI. It became the Lieutenant when the Korontid died, obviously. I repositioned to focus on portals, expecting possible retreat or to not know what he had left. Then in his turn 3, he tried to move the anathematic away. My Hatamoto did catch it in ARO with Plasma and killed it. Pneumonica passed Lieutenant to the Icodron, then the Krakot Renegade jumped forward. My Hatamoto took that out in ARO. It was basically out of pieces, and then I spent my final turn getting specialists into portals to dominate them. So I won that one 6-0. It was a brilliant game. I really enjoyed seeing Vanilla combined in action again. And that Yaugat in Vanilla, just stomping around on its own. I'd used it in Morats and loved it, but to see it do so well on its own was great. That was the second Unity mission down, and I felt like I was starting to find a rhythm. Then I played Man on the Run versus Harpreet, who was Kestrel Colonial Force. The cool concept of this one is that you're questioning suspects to track down a fugitive, which ends up being the last suspect. And then you extract that. There's always something to do. You're constantly making decisions. It's challenging, but it's intuitive as well. So I was up against Harpreet KCF. Specifically, the key thing there was a Griffin and a Fennec core fire team with 5 members, so lots of dice. There were 2 TR Thunderbolts, a chain of command hidden somewhere, Hacker, Tick Balang tag. He won the roll and took first turn, and everyone who got the whip roll against me chose to go first, by the way. So I'd lined up my Raidens to splash the Fennec team. That was the plan. Figured I'd neutralize his main order pool early. He brought his Griffin out to discover one of my camo tokens, which was actually a mine. Failed to discover, I revealed my Raiden with a heavy rocket launcher, managed to hit that and another Fennec. I knocked the Fennec unconscious, but the Griffin absorbed it and then just killed my Raiden. He tried again, I revealed my second Raiden. He switched to using the Thunderbolt TR bot. I killed the Thunderbolt, then the Griffin came around forward again, killed my Raiden, so I had both my Raidens down and I hadn't really made a dent in the Fennec. And so for the first time all tournament, those Raidens hadn't traded their points effectively. Then he dropped a Black Air in my deployment zone and took a shot at my Yojimbo. Yojimbo dodged, took a wound, so went NWI, but I managed to maneuver my Yamabushi through dodging around and chain rifle the Black Air. I did trade the Yamabushi for Black Air, and Yojimbo survived, so I felt like that was better for me overall. His Tick Blank then came out and killed my NCO Hatamoto. Managed to put 2 wounds on the tag before the Hatamoto died, but the tag was still roaming. This is where I made a tactical error. I charged Yojimbo up, trying to engage the Griffin, put myself way too far out, didn't put smoke, ends up facing the TR Thunderbolt, which could shoot me back, and the Griffin, but I had the Tick Blank in its rear line of fire. So I used my contender with +1 burst, put 2 shots in the Griffin, put 1 in the back of the Tick Blank, and just took the Thunderbolt. Did nothing to any of them. Thunderbolt killed me, lost to Jimbo. In hindsight, I should have smoked the area. The Griffin had MSV, but was further around, so I could have avoided him and then gone for the Tick Blank through smoke and CC'd it. So lesson learned. Then by turn 2, I had 5 orders, 2 regular, 2 lieutenant, no NCO. So I started using my Lieutenant Hatamoto to try and kill the Thunderbolt and the Tick Blank. Failed. Took a wound, retreated. Everything I threw at them just kept bouncing off. And then turn 3, I brought my Jizumarai back up into a link with a Hatamoto. Reformed the link, charged up to try and get the Jizumarai into CC with the Tick Blank. Needed 1 dodge to lock it in with my last order. Failed the dodge. The next turn, Tick Blank pops out, heavy flamethrower as my Jizumarai. I dodge on a +3, fail, dead. I did have a ninja with Mimetism -6 in a central courtyard trying to get objectives. The Tick Blank comes in close range with an HMG. I dodge to get into CC. He's -3 from range, an additional -6 from Mimetism, so he's on -9. Should favour me. He rolls 3 critical 6s. Just absolutely absurd luck, and my ninja is smoke. End result, we both focused more on killing than objectives. We drew 3-3 on mission points. I had about 70 points left on the table. He had 190. Felt like a beating, was a beating, but the draw on objectives softened the blow. Man on the Run is a tough mission, tough game, and I did learn a lot of lessons about using things effectively even when desperate. Game 4, Mothball, against my local favourite, Bryn. This was another community mission, and honestly, most people weren't super excited about it beforehand, but the central mechanic is that there are zones you check to reveal either a Mothball or a QAZ creature that becomes active and has guard burst 3 in CC. It's a bit chaotic, it's a bit random, but it played better than I expected for sure. I was facing Bryn, who was playing Imperial Service. This was significant because I finally won a roll. First whip roll I'd won all tournament, and I took first turn. Ironic, as he had one of the best lieutenants in Sansei in the game with a whip 17. The key moments in turn 1, I infiltrated 2 ninjas, one a Kuriyami, forward and focused on flipping the QAZ areas. First one I flipped turned out to be the Mothball. Perfect. Second one had to be a QAZ creature, so my ninja did nothing for the rest of the game, having revealed that so that I could score some points. I left the middle one for him to deal with, knowing the QAZ creature would be there waiting. I ran Yojimbo up, threw smoke, grabbed the Mothball, pulled it back. But then I had a moment of madness. Immediately I realized that that was terrible because his movement was being negated as you can't take the Mothball out of a central zone without being penalized. He also couldn't smoke throke anymore because then that would be a dice roll. So I swapped it to Sacha, who went round the corner prone and hid valiantly. That was internal. I didn't kill much, I just positioned and tried to score some points. His active turn ended up forcing me to reveal both Raidens. I took out a few things as a result of that, including a Dilmamut when that roamed out in the open. Splashed a few other things as he came out too, which was really great. The Raiden took him down, which was chipping away at his order pool, which was great. He did manage to get the middle console, which revealed the QAZ creature, which we knew would be the case. And that started CCing things that moved through that area, which was nice because it killed a unit. He revealed a hidden Flash Pulse unit with Mimetism, which I removed in my next turn with some Plasma. He put some troops in the building as a desperate last act, trying to make it harder for me to access if he placed the Mothball up there. But at that point, I had my foot on the accelerator. I basically cleared everything out, and so I could just go wherever I wanted. He entered the game with no models left on the table. I'd only lost one Jizumarai, which I sent in to kill Sensei, got shotgunned in the face and failed my dodge. Then I sent in Yojimbo to get Sensei and CC, and Yojimbo did the job. So scored the Mothball at the end for a 7-1 victory. That is a slightly easier mission when you dominate the table, to be fair. So we've only got one mission left to talk about before we get on to the winner. Game 5 was Tag of War. I played this versus Matt Kress, who was Tartary Army Corps, which is all flavor at the moment. The 5th community mission, the concept here is capturing a tag in the middle of the table, whilst also interacting with Panoplies for points and classified objectives. It's a tug of war over the central objectives while managing side objectives. You have to get the tag into your opponent's half the table to score more and deployment side. So I was up against Kress tag. I haven't played that very often. He won the roll, took first turn, and spent much of it trying to lay smoke and failing, and then moving his dog warrior up the field. Doing so let me reveal my Raidens, which got the dog warrior to an unconscious state in ARO, and also managed to splash some of his camo tokens. One of them was a mine, but the other was a scout, which got killed. I did lose my Flash Pulse bot in his active turn, but otherwise I managed to trade peace as well, thanks to both Raidens being revealed. They did eventually fall, but they did take their points worth with them pretty quickly. My active turn was focused on removing whatever I could see to get rid of some of his orders, mostly achieved with my Tanuki Fireteam's MSB2 HMG. I moved the Bushitai Harris up the field and dropped his Foxhold robot, though he did revive that in his next turn. Luckily, I could see the engineer with one of my Raidens, and he lost it in the process. Mid-game, so there was just more bloodshed. Kress was playing very aggressively, and so was I. He secured a classified objective and extracted from a Panopoly, so he was actually scoring some points. In my turn, I then had to press my attack, took out his paramedic biker, most of his Kazakh fire team, and anything else I could see. However, I did overextend my Tanuki fire team, putting them out in the open to try and capture the tag in my last turn. However, in his final turn, I lost my Kuriyami ninja, CCing a hidden deployment trooper, trying to dodge a mine. The Kazakh fire team came around and killed it. My Tanuki fire team were then wide open, and an explosive portable autocannon just took out 2 of the 3 remaining members. But on his last order, I revealed a hidden deployment camo marker near the Panopoly. It was my ninja. And in my final turn, it was all about objective. So I secured a Panopoly to reduce his score by 2. I secured an HVT to equal the scores and objectives, and then I extracted from another Panopoly to swing it 2 points my way. Final score was 4-2 to me. Not a dominant victory. We didn't get anywhere near the tag. Well, we did, but we didn't get in the tag. A victory. So from 5 games, I had 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 very narrow loss. So that put me in 3rd place, which I am so happy about. My second ever 3rd placement, and it's my highest I've only ever reached 3rd, which is great. I'm really pleased with that result. The army does suit my playstyle. It's got aggressive positioning, it's got a really strong ARO game with the Raidens, and those Hatamoto plasma rifles in the Bushitai fire team are doing work when I need them to. It's been a journey learning this faction, but it's really paying off. I'm very much enjoying them. The big announcement, the mission winner. Remember, I had all 5 community design missions at this tournament, and I let the players vote on their favourite after experiencing all of them. We had Airdrop, which was Supply Box, Chaos and Destruction, Portals, which was teleporting madness across the battlefield. Man on the Run, questioning suspects to find the fugitive. Mothball, QAZ discovery with a mothball restricted to the center of the table. Tag of War, central TAD capture with Monopoly side objectives. The winner, with the most votes from the players, was Man on the Run, created by Ralph Shemin, with thanks to John Walker and his manhunt narrative scenario for the inspiration. It won because players loved it. You always had something to do, you were constantly questioning suspects, making decisions, you were even killing suspects to stop your opponents from scoring points. You felt like you were progressing towards a goal. It was challenging, but it was easy to understand. The mission had clear objectives, but kept you engaged for the entire game. And that's exactly what you want from a tournament mission. Recognition for the other missions is due though, so huge credit to all 5 finalists. Every mission played well and brought something unique to the tournament. The variety kept the event fresh, and that's exactly what I was hoping for when I launched this competition. So thank you to everyone who submitted, not just the top 5, but absolutely everyone. Going through over 50 missions, while initially was daunting, it was also super fun. I really appreciate the incredible support for the channel and the community. And also thank you to all my opponents at the tournament for fantastic games. I loved every single one of them. Even when the dancers weren't in my favor, and I'm looking at you, Harpreet, for those triple crit 6s. If you enjoyed this recap, hit that subscribe button. We'll be running more community competitions in the future, and I'll keep bringing you tournament reports and Infinity content. Let me know in the comments which of the 5 missions sounds the most interesting to you. They're in the descriptions if you want to have a look at them more or use them in your own games. And if you've got ideas for future missions, please share them. We want to hear them. Until next time, keep those Raidens in good ARO positions. And remember, sometimes the best tactical decision is the simplest one. I'll see you in the next video.